It's Valentine's Day. I've grieved this holiday a long time. For 16 years, I've worn all black from head to toe every February 14th. And I'm tired. Tired of protesting. Tired of waiting for this world to remember a celebration that's hundreds of years past its day. This may be my last Valentine's complaint video. I'm not sure. Right now, I'm just ready to leave the subject behind me, maybe forever. So it seems like a good time to explain why I have so much vitriol for this holiday. Gather round, it's story time. It all started when I was very little. Does everything bad begin in childhood? Oh, MG, I am so over that. Anyway, way back in 1st or 2nd grade, the teacher instructed us in making Valentine's Day pouches she'd staple to the wall so we could receive Valentines. And all us kids in the class had to make Valentines for all the other kids in the class and deposit them in the pouches. Yeah, this was before those obnoxious printed ones. Old school, handmade Valentines. Well, I was confused from the start. I knew what Valentine's Day was. It's a celebration of romantic love. And in 2nd grade, we were way too young to be locking it in for romantic choice. I thought dating would start when I'd gotten a little taller. Jeez. But a class assignment is a class assignment. Now, we weren't allowed to leave anyone out, so I made a classroom full of generic little notes with hearts scribbled on them. But I also knew what a real Valentine was, so I looked around the room and picked the nicest, prettiest boy in the class, and I took a deep breath and said goodbye to my childhood, and I made a real Valentine professing my affection. It looked something like this. Giant, red, puckered lips in the shape of a heart, with some mushiness on the back that I do not still remember. Well, I can tell you, it did not go over well. I believe my mother was called on that one. My teacher was concerned that I was inappropriately harassing the little boy. I understand he was a bit traumatized by the monstrous kissy lips. And that's fair. That teacher never clarified that this was to be a child's interpretation of the Valentine sentiment. I was trying to do the assignment correctly. I didn't think it was appropriate for kids to be honoring a Venusian holiday either. But you put this assignment on my desk with vague directions and fail to clarify we're not doing it the real way. How is this my fault? I think my mother and my teacher thought I was some kind of early onset female pervert. No, I'm not. I was not. I'm just not neurotypical. My memory of this holiday goes back centuries. And you give me craft supplies, construction paper, and an open-ended assignment? Really? Yeah. As a child, I loved anything and everything holiday. I'd be planning next year's Halloween costume by November 1st. I'd wonder what Santa was up to at the North Pole all year long. And Valentine's Day? Well, that was something I could celebrate when I got older. And I dreamed of what that would look like. A whole holiday dedicated to the celebration of romantic pair bonding. I did not date much as a teen. I suspect my raging conservatism made me universally unappealing to the horny little pubescent boys. But at the time, It was confusing to me that my affections were not sought after. I thought I had a lot to offer. But looking back, my devotion to a life of spiritual mysticism was not likely appealing to most other young people. I was 19 before I went on my first date. And by 21 and a half, I was married. My young adult experience in dating was paltry. But I was married now. The romance could begin. I was married early in February. The honeymoon consisted of staying an extra night or two in the hotel room near the offending altar. See, a honeymoon was inconvenient for my groom. He didn't want to have to take any time off work. Honestly, I think he just wanted to get the thing done and be married so I'd consent to fuck him. He was not really a happy camper about waiting. But let's not go down any tangents here. I'll get lost complaining about my stupid life choices at 20. The point of me telling you about my rushed and uncelebrated wedding vows and young lack of dating experience is this. I was a newlywed for the first Valentine's Day I would ever be able to actually celebrate. The first of many in a long life filled with love. Right? I bet you can tell this isn't going where 21-year-old me thought it was going. Just like those childhood holidays, I planned ahead. I secretly took the day off work. I prepared a fancy dinner. There was a tablecloth. There were candles. There were heart-shaped candles, if memory serves. I went all out, cleaning the house, cooking, working to arrange a romantic meal and a whole ambiance in the space. I did not put out any flowers, though. I didn't want my aggressive decorating to compete with or minimize the bouquet that my spouse would be bringing home. But I had the vase ready. I had it all timed, and my groom husband arrived home to an all-stops-pulled celebration of love. He wasn't expecting it. He liked it, but he didn't seem to understand why I'd gone to the trouble. He had done nothing. Nothing. 1 week, newly married, no actual honeymoon, and it doesn't even occur to him to perform any premeditated gesture of affection for the holiday? Nothing? I did my best to seem unbothered and unhurt. Yes, that was my error, but I was conditioned to be a doormat. And I figured he would get the memo that this was a real relationship, and we'd look back on this many years from now and laugh at that one time when we were first married and still figuring things out. But no. This was how he handled every Valentine's Day and every anniversary and any chance to show me he cared. And I admit I'm oversimplifying and skimming details for the sake of brevity, but he really just never wanted to celebrate me or our marriage. Looking back with the clarity of time and distance, I don't believe the man actually liked me, much less loved me. 8 years and 10 months later, my divorce was final in December. And that following February, it felt marvelously appropriate to leave the house in all black. I was grieving what had never been. And I was also intentionally burying the past, because at 30, I was still young enough to turn it around, and I needed to grieve this holiday's past so I could move on and be ready for all the Valentines yet to come. And you already know from this video's intro that I've donned the black shroud every year since. it's not for lack of trying. I dated rather dutifully for a few years, but I found that no one wanted my companionship, my partnership. I found that men wanted either of two things from me. One, the Kleenex conundrum. I'll explain. You know how when you've got to sneeze, everything else falls away? The only thing that matters in all of existence is getting to that tissue before your nose blows. But the nanosecond that sneeze has been safely deposited, well, you just can't get that soiled mess into the nearest trash can fast enough. Or two, men wanted my domestic services for free. Babysitting, cleaning up after the man, food prep, meal planning, you know the drill. And he couldn't be bothered with me as a real human being. Zero reciprocal compensation, emotional or otherwise. And I wonder, do I really have that bad a taste in men? Or are men who see women as actual people really that rare? I mean, it's not like I was picking these guys over better options. Or am I really that unsavory as a partnering prospect? I don't know. I was never able to solve the mystery in time. Clearly, I may not be quite past my expiration date yet, but I'm definitely well past my freshness date. I gave up dating 13 or 14 years ago. At the time, I meant it to be a temporary head clearing, but the head clearing let me see clearly that there is no one out there. There just aren't options outside of those dynamics I've already seen play out. And I'm just not willing to risk being again confused for domestic chattel. And I'm certainly not a Kleenex girl. I could struggle to puzzle this out for the rest of my life and still probably never understand why. But at this late date, the why has become irrelevant. It didn't happen for me. And even if I could understand why and how, it's too late to course correct. I'm too old to build and share a life with someone. So my options have whittled down pretty narrowly now, and it looks like I'm turning into something between Baba Yaga and Elvira. And the really scary part is, I'm going to be a fucking badass forest hag. Just saying. But I still really don't know how I'm going to get there, what this road is going to look like. Every thought and plan I've ever had for myself has been based on existing inside a partnership. Sorry, I really don't want to go dark on you. I've done enough of that lately, but I've been foiled. The universe just had other plans for me, apparently, and I've got to learn how to generate my work in this world without the foundation of teamwork. And I've understood this for some time now. It's just taken me a very, very long time to completely give up. And with that giving up, it's time to finally stop grieving Valentine's Day. Not because my ineligibility to celebrate the holiday has ended, because it hasn't, but because I'm tired of grieving it. I'm ready to walk out into this world, a world where a proper Valentine's Day doesn't exist anyway. I mean, just look at the gaudy, immature merchandising crammed into store shelves. It's embarrassing. I'm doing a lot of cleaning house in 2024. I anticipate real forward movement in 2025, and I want to step into the next new year with a genuinely clean slate and no expectations other than change. I'm letting go of a lot this coming year. It's going to be a year of purging for me. There will be a lot of flames of purgation in the old fire pit on the lawn. And if my yard weren't out on a main highway, I'd probably be dancing around that fire naked. But such are the limitations of our prude and busybody society. And with this last of the winter holidays soon behind us, I am deeply looking forward to spring and air temperatures that don't freeze or burn my face. If you've made it this far, leave me a black heart emoji in the comments. I think that just feels right to me, right? And thank you for listening while I get this all off my chest. I'm ready to step away from all the things I've spent decades of my life trying and failing to fix. I don't know what the future is going to look like, but I'm done trying to repair it all. Everything, or nearly everything, is broken, and it's not getting fixed. And I'm just accepting that this life is a cruel hellscape, and the older I get, the closer I get to going home to a reality that makes a lot more sense. And until that ticket home finally comes, I'm going to find joy and meaning wherever I can, even if it's just out of spite. And if you're having a similar sort of struggle here on the planet Earth, I'd encourage you to do the same. We can all be spitefully joyful and make meaning rebelliously while we're stuck here, yes? So on that cheery note, let's do this thing. And keep it wild, y'all. Yeah, my face is here. Good God, are these a year old? We just bought them. Oh, it's stale. Or are they just really that hard?